everyone, Ivy League Gaming here, and today we're playing Higan Eruthyll. For today's video, I'm going to do a little bit more of an in-depth reroll guide, and we're going to talk about should you even reroll? Should you bother? Is it worth it? Is it too much of a pain in the butt? How is the process? Let's talk about it. Alright, so we're going to talk about a bunch of things today, and I'm going to show many of the steps throughout the reroll process. It's actually very quick. It only takes like 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 minutes, honestly. If you're going super quick, I think it was like not much more than 5 minutes the first time I did it. Maybe it was pretty efficient. But I didn't actually plan to reroll in this game until I was live streaming and someone told me I had a terrible start, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. I got a dupe and a dude. I just got black and a dupe of Euphoria. Euphoria? I forgot her name. And it wasn't the best, right? You kind of want to hope you get a triple S hero. So first, before we get into the actual reroll itself, I want to quick say, there's always a personal debate of whether or not you should reroll. Personally, the way I feel about the game that I'm starting to play so far, after playing a couple hours yesterday, 2-3 hours today, I don't know. I don't feel it's necessary. I actually really like the SR heroes that I'm playing with. I don't feel like you need the best triple or SSRs to succeed. I could be wrong. I mean, obviously you want a good start, but I'm really enjoying the people I actually have on my account right now. And I think it can be more fun to just roll with what you get. But if you get a really bad start and you want to try at least a few attempts to get an SSR from those first 2 10 pulls that we get to very quickly, well, there's some things to consider, right? So for one, you can just keep rerolling, right? You can keep rerolling, and you're going to need email addresses. So when you go to log into the game, you're going to hit start and you're going to see this Vanguard server. So if you're, I would highly suggest, number one tip here, the story's cute, the graphics are nice, and you kind of want to, I don't know, when I play these kind of games, I like the story aspect of it. That's kind of the point for me, is also to find games that seem to have a little bit more than just a daily gacha grind. Like, what's the point of just grinding out a dungeon endlessly, randomly every day with really no more interest than that? Like, that doesn't sound fun to me. I want there to be more to it, which is why I was enjoying Eversoul. But this here, you can easily go through the story pretty quickly because they give you some features that allow you to play it on auto and play it fast. You could just read it and watch it as if you're watching a TV show, as if you're watching an anime, right? It feels like you're just watching a story, watching a show, and it's quite nice, honestly. I would definitely suggest that before you start your reroll process, do your very first attempt with just genuinely going through the story and going through the tutorial. If you try to force the tutorial too quickly, you might be like, wait, how do I use that skill? Oh wait, what does this do? When they already told you. So definitely go through first slowly. I would highly suggest, unless you're a super good gacha grinder and pick up super quick on this stuff, but I would say the more average player, like, you kind of want to learn the new game, right? It's a lot to learn when you start a brand new game, whether it be the mechanics of a battle, how the characters actually work, or just making sure you don't miss something that's could be super obvious that they tell you in the beginning just because you weren't paying attention because you're trying to click super fast. So definitely suggest playing once slowly. So we're here on the login screen, right? So what's going to happen is if you go through first and you decide you don't like what you got, you're going to come back, close the game, log out, come back to the main screen. So when you hit confirm, it might remember that you're logged in on a Gmail, and it'll pop up here to log in with the same account. And there's going to be a white button up here. It's going to be a white bar with a button by this headset that says switch account. So just keep an eye. Once you hit confirm, if that pops up, then go ahead and actually, let's see if it remembers me. Yes, see, change account. There it is. change account. That's one thing up there that you can decide if you don't want to stay on the same account, you can do that. So that's part of it. All right, so one thing I want to point out here, as you're starting to actually go through, once you've decided, all right, I don't really care about the story, I'm just doing my reroll, luckily you can skip the story. Or if you're one of those people that only semi-care and you kind of want to know the general idea, but you don't need to watch the whole thing, you can actually just read a little blurb about each section. I really like that the game does this, honestly. It makes it really interesting. Don't mind my disconnects, by the way. For some reason, my VPN software that's within my BlueStacks right now as an app does not like when I'm using my recording software of OBS. It just constantly disconnects this game when I have OBS running. But it's not that bad when I'm actually playing it. But this is going to happen a few times during my recording, probably. Which is going to make this process longer than it should be, but I'm not going to show the whole thing. I'm just going to talk about some little tips as I go through it, and then we're going to continue to discuss a little deeper about what you're looking for and if you should even do it in the first place. But yeah, this cute little blurb here, boom, makes it super simple. You can get a gist of what's happening without actually paying attention to the whole story. There's also some ways you can quickly get through with the battles themselves. Of course, there's a lot of the tutorial is going to show you how to place stuff. They don't exactly tell you to place things in the most perfect positions, but it's close. But the actual battles themselves, the tutorial doesn't tell you the fastest way to fight. So I'm going to quickly show you that if this will let me. All right, get in here. It makes it so slow with the VPN though. But it's worth it for me in the end because it's not this bad when I'm actually playing normally. So we're going to go in here. It does show you this, the mechanisms about fighting, about, so elemental damage, white number is general damage, gray number is when you be encountered deals less damage. So this is like when you're going against a negative affinity versus like positive affinity type thing. I like that. All right, so when the battle begins, you're luckily able to do this not in the swiping way. You can just double click. It's so much faster. So that's one quick little tip here when you're trying to be super quick about rerolling. Just double click the skills, double click the ultimates, and it's going to be a lot faster. All right, then it very quickly gets you to this character wish part. It really doesn't take long to get there. By the way, as I was having a million disconnect issues with my VPN, I do realize that once you get into the game, you can kind of pull down, turn off your VPN, go back into the game, and much smoother gameplay, no issues with the disconnects or reconnects. If you have the same issue like me, you might want to try that. Just keep in mind when you go back into the game, sometimes it's really picky. I've had to clear my cache once I have the VPN turned on and come back in before I'm able to play a few times. But that's one of the other realities of rerolling is the struggle with if you're not in the country and have to deal with that extra stuff like a VPN or not. But it seems to be all right. I'm kind of working out the kinks myself. But they're going to kind of force us not to click our other red dots. We're going to go in here and we're going to get to the wish section. So they're going to give us our free wish. And after this free wish, which everyone gets the same character, the whole point is they want to show you that there is a character here, Yume, that is really cool for interruption, and that's something that we kind of need in some cases, which will continue through in the story mode. But we're not going to be doing more summons here. We don't have any. We're going to be doing some summons here, and I'm going to talk about this really quick. So there are a few banners to get when you start. So there's this guaranteed banner here. Honestly, this is a little bit bait. It sounds exciting. 20 wishes until you get a guaranteed SSR. But for one, we don't have the currency for that yet. For two, it takes a while to get 10, let alone 20 of playing. And I don't think that's really worth the time spent for rerolling. If you're going to reroll, you're going to be efficient and you're going to be quick. And you're going to want to just focus on getting to be able to use the 2 10 pulls here that we get from this resource that was given to us right away here, which is part of the log, and I think it was that pre-registration reward here that allows us to do 2 10 pulls. Now I don't know if they're going to do this same thing when it goes global. Hopefully they do as well. If you're watching this later after it goes global, I have no idea if it's going to be the same. Keep in mind this is the soft launch. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our 2 10 pulls here on this banner. And I would honestly suggest that if you continue playing or you get a few more of these and you want to pop them, pop everything on this banner. Not this one. Even though this is like, oh, but guaranteed. She's really, really good. And you want to grind this out as best you can to get to 120 pulls, because then you get a guaranteed pity exchange here, which is amazing, right? Guaranteed pity, you get to get her. So if you don't get her in those pulls, you're gonna get her. So there's a guarantee in a different way. And so you want to start grinding the game pretty early on. If you're starting a couple days late, like today, tomorrow, and there's only so many days left of this banner, I suggest don't waste multiple days re-rolling. Just pick whatever works the best and just start rolling with it and try to grind the game to see if we can get these 120 to make sure you can grab this character as a guarantee. Completely ignore this banner. Pretend it doesn't exist. It's not going away. There's no ending in X amount of time to worry about. So the good thing is, once you've completed this banner, then you can go do this and you know you're going to get a triple S hero. But that's my thoughts on where you should pull if you continue pulling after these first 20 pulls. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is a soft launch server that we're talking about right now as of when this video is going out. And you might not want to go all in and go crazy during a soft launch. If you're like me, I consider soft launch to be like a temporary gameplay period, like a beta or just my trial period. And while there are a lot of benefits to spending because you're going to get the money back, so that's definitely not a bad thing. If you have the means to make it happen where you can spend and pretend you're in that other country. I can't get it to work, honestly. I have a Canadian email address, but it knows all my currencies are not Canadian, so I can't spend. Keep that in mind too for rerolling. Rerolling might not be worth it to you if you're like, but wait, I can't even spend anyway? Screw it, I'm just gonna play and learn, and then I'll play again. I'll restart all over with everybody else when it goes global. I'm gonna start again when it goes global, I know that. Or you could think the opposite. Because you know 100% you're not spending, you could say, I'm going to take the time no matter what, and I'm going to get a really good start because I know I'm not spending. So there's a couple ways to look at it, but again, I highly suggest not wasting too much time so you can start playing. You just need to get going in the game and not miss the opportunity to potentially get enough cards to max this out. And I'm going all in with our resources here for pulls as well. I think on my account, I've only played for probably, 4, maybe 5 hours total. I think I've done 50 polls, 60 polls, something like that, including with using these resources here, which makes sure there's one is a paid currency, one is a non-paid currency, so it can be a little bit deceiving when you see this box up here, or the number up here, by the way. You might not actually have all of that, so keep that in mind too. That's my thoughts on the whole rerolling idea. Just remember, at the end of the day, it's only a soft launch server, and while, yes, the soft launch server will stay, so if you start playing here, you get really into it, and you don't want to start a new account, you don't have to. You'll be on the same soft launch server with everybody else that started too. But I don't know, I kind of feel like it's more of a trial period, and I kind of just took the best of my bunch. But ideally, obviously we're hoping for a SSR hero, right? A legendary. We want an SSR hero for this. And, or at least not like a bad dupe and a bad epic, right? But we never know what we're gonna get, so you're just gonna have to decide based on your own personal preferences. So you don't really have to do that. You can just hit skip. I'm just doing it for the sake of the first poll. But this is gonna go blue, and then it's gonna go purple, right? And ideally we want it to go gold. So I only got one epic in this 10 poll. That kind of sucks. Oh, she's interesting. All right, she's a hoplite character. She can be a frontline damage dealer and tank. She's bringing the fan service as well. Alright, let's skip the rest of these. So we only had one. That's not a great start, honestly. I don't know that she'd be worthy of this whole account to be like, yes, I'm keeping it because I got her. But it also depends on your patience and what you're looking for. Let's see what we get here. Maybe we'll get lucky. But honestly, personally, I did 5 rerolls, and I did not get a single triple S or SSR. And here we go again. Another one with no SSR. So Personally, I kind of just took the best of the bunch. I did a few different email logins, and I took the one that gave me the most epics, and I really, actually, I got her multiple times, and I really like her. So I'm actually quite happy with that pull, honestly. But this one, I probably wouldn't keep. I would continue rerolling a few more times. But again, if you're just starting now, or you started yesterday and you're debating rerolling, do it now, do it fast, get it over with, and start grinding the game. There's too much time to be wasted. If you are someone who really wants to try to grind out a banner like this and try to hit this pity and take advantage of it, don't waste too much time. That's really my best advice with rerolling as a reroll guide here. But alright, let's say if you don't like it, you can pop out and continue. But so I think instead of trying to log out awkwardly, there's no way to like clear your data or whatever, just close the game and go back into it, like force close the game, swipe it away on your phone, or close it with the X and BlueStacks or whatever, and then log back in with another email address. So that's kind of it for a reroll guide. It's really more so deciding if you want to reroll, I think, and who are you rerolling for. Honestly, you're just hoping for a triple S, I want to say. You're hoping for a legendary, an SSR hero, and if not, just take the best pull of the bunch from the SR heroes. And I think at the end of the day, there's plenty of good damage dealers that you can work with that are not SSR, plus we get the free copy of media from the pre-registration reward. So that she actually works great grinding the game, or at least early on. She probably falls off later, but she's great early on as your main AoE damage dealer, so you don't really need to worry about too much else. And then you'd probably be very happy from the SSRs if you got one of the supports. There's a couple support healers, support characters that are really, really great to boost your account. But I really think for the most part you can get by with the ones that they're going to give us. And if they give us media, if you grind out the banner for Eruthyll, then you're gonna have her as well. So do you really need to reroll? I don't think it's necessary, but if you are someone who's super into that and wants to get the best start possible, it's quite easy in this game. Just different email addresses, and if you don't live in one of the countries, you gotta use a VPN when you're logging in. And if it's picky, actually I'll show you guys what I have to do. Usually if I disconnected my VPN, so probably when I try to log back in it's gonna boot me. So what I've had to do is to go into my settings, and I've had to click here, I've had to force stop it, and then every time I've gone to storage, I've not cleared data, just cleared cache. And then I've returned on my Canadian VPN. Thank you, NordVPN. I really need to contact them to be a sponsor, I swear. And then I start the game up again. And then it seems to be okay as long as I do it that way. But that's all for this video, guys. I'm going to have lots of content to come on this game. I really do like it so far. It does seem to get hard really fast, but I know most people seem to get stuck, like completely stuck after the first day of gameplay. But I think that's okay. But there's not the idle RPG aspect of getting a ton of different resources, so that's a little weird for me. It's not like you walk back in and all of a sudden you have a ton of resources to level up your characters after a whole day of not playing or whatever, or sleeping at least. So that might make grinding this game a little bit difficult, and maybe that makes it more important to do a reroll. I don't know. Maybe it makes it more important. But that's up to you guys. Personally, I can also suggest if you really like, oh, but what about which characters do I pick? I don't know what's good. There is this nice wiki for Eruthyll, but this was an outdated tier list. There's new characters that aren't even on this, like media is not even on this. And so this is not 100% to go by. I know a lot of people keep showing this, but it literally says this is not up to date. This is for the old beta. So take this with a grain of salt. Oluya, though, she seems amazing no matter what. I really like her. And these characters are great. Follette, I love her. That's who I'm playing with right now. I feel like she could be my main damage dealer. I'm having so much fun with her. I keep getting dupes. I think I have 3. But you can also use this wiki as a reference overall to kind of get an idea at least of who might be good. But again, so much can change from beta to beta, so keep that in mind. But hope this was helpful. Hope you guys enjoy your journey playing this game. I'm really enjoying it so far. So I'll be coming back with a better first impression video, talking about some of the things that I've noticed, both good and bad, for this game.